Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Hilaal Live. Thanks for watching us on channel 347, also on our live stream www.hilaal.tv. The elections 2024 is coming up. It's days away, and there are various political parties that feel that they can make a difference. One such party is the OHM party, which is the Organic Humanity Movement. And in studio, I'd like to welcome the founder, Lauren Evanthia Bernardo. Good evening and welcome.
Hi, Lukman.
Thanks for taking the time. I know it's a busy period for everybody right now.
It's a very busy period.
I can imagine your party itself. It's a party that not many people, I would imagine, have heard of, and you probably get this. But tell us more. Give us a bit of history and maybe some key points on what you feel is pertinent in your run-in for 2024.
Well, we looked at the global picture of where countries are in the world. We looked at South Africa specifically. I think we hear it all the time, every day on the news, what's going wrong with South Africa, so I by no means need to repeat that. But we identified the root cause of the problem is actually the political system that South Africa has. It stems from the constitution we inherited in 1994.
Right.
So we want to change all of that. We want to change the political system, and we want to change the government structure with the main goal of ensuring that all individuals have maximum freedom possible within a civil society so that humanity can progress. If not in the world, then at least here in South Africa.
Okay, now when you say the political systems, have you identified particular areas or avenues where you feel our government is falling short? And how would you rectify that?
100%. Well, first it all starts with the first few lines of the Constitution, where it says South Africa is a multi-party democracy. So I understand that when the transition happened, parties might have seemed like a natural progression into a form of democracy. However, it's also been the thing that's held South Africa back so much, political parties specifically. So we actually, as the Organic Humanity Movement, want to be the party that ends all parties, including ourselves. So we want all parties to be dissolved at a certain point, and we have a specific process to follow. And then that system will be replaced by what we call direct elections, where the public will vote for their representatives directly. You will vote for the president as a person. You will vote as your regional member of parliament as a person, not a party. You'll vote for your mayor and you'll vote for your councillor as people, not political parties.
Other countries around the world that have that system in place, and has it been working for them?
We actually haven't really looked at how other countries do these things. We came up with something brand new that we believe is unique to South Africa, perfectly suitable for South Africa's unique problems.
Okay. Very interesting statement, that. The structure itself, in terms of how we structure our political parties, our government. Do you find that that's an okay system in place, or do you have another alternative to that?
Well, parties will fall away, so you'll vote directly for individuals, which means that whoever you vote for, whether it's the mayor or the president or anywhere in between, remember also there's no provincial government. We're removing provincial government. So the people are closer to the candidates who become your representatives once voted in, are closer to the people. Right now, any public representative, who do they work for? They work for political parties. Who do the political parties work for? They work for massive funders who want to influence policy to benefit their pockets. That's all politics is, actually. It's a complete eye blind. So we want to remove that and make sure politicians work for the people as representatives in government. Then government's going to have a completely new philosophy and structure as well. And I suppose some can consider it rather radical, because I don't think it's been done anywhere in the world before.
It's got to take a lot of getting used to, wrapping your head around that.
Yes.
In hindsight, it may sound like a possibility that can work, and a solution to how we work in South Africa, and more importantly around the world. Wrapping your head around it and implementation, it's got to take a lot of legwork.
It is going to take, because a lot of people can only think within the confines of current systems. We're breaking out of those confines, but it is the only solution. There's no immediate quick fix to South Africa's problem, so it is going to take time. The one thing that sets the Organic Humanity Movement apart is that we do look at the global picture and the global threat, and how global organizations such as United Nations and UNESCO actually interfere in government policy making. We want to remove all of that globalist influence, because we don't believe it's healthy for South Africa.
Gotcha. We're also tied to economic banks, countries, organizations that contribute on various levels. to either the political party or the running of the country. Do you find that we should still continue with that? Do you find that we need to cut the news somewhere along the line? Because to a large extent, most economic organizations tend to determine how a country is run, or influential.
They absolutely do, and that's why we believe in giving people politically freedom first. So it's a multi-layered solution, and it starts with the political changes, which will also lend itself to then the government structural changes, which I'd also love to go into.
Right.
And we don't want to make enemies with the international community. What we want is not to be beggars at the negotiating table. We want to take charge and say how things are going to be done, and no longer be dictated to by international organizations.
So we have a constitution that obviously wants to include everyone, or would like to. Democracy plays a huge part in that as well. Where does your party stand in that?
What do you mean?
In terms of democracy and including people and having an equal right for economic strife, on all the hardships and challenges we go through in South Africa.
That should absolutely go without saying. We want to improve democracy, improve the participation, and remove the systems of oppression from society. So we acknowledge we want to improve humanity. That's the big picture goal, putting individual liberty first. And we recognize that the systems that govern society all are oppressive in their nature. So you first change the political system and government structure. And then what follows is the economic system, the justice system, the healthcare system, and the education system. All those systems need to be transformed, but you cannot transform those four without first changing the political system. So we are working in that systematic way. And then the way we want to implement the political as well as the government changes is through the Constitution. So what we call it is constitutional transformation, where once we have a seat in Parliament, we want to work with the other legislatures in Parliament to rewrite the Constitution to put people first. All people.
A large amount of political candidates, we do find coalitions happening after elections. Are you looking to do that as well?
Not at all. We see no need to. So someone might put a bill forward in Parliament. We're either going to agree with it or not. And if we agree with it or not will depend on our values and principles as an organization.
What's in store after elections? Let's take the high road and say, you've got a seat in Parliament. What happens next?
That's exciting because we hope that more people will hear about who we are then, firstly, and then we'll get to work immediately with rewriting the Constitution alongside other members of Parliament. So we're not going to form coalitions. That's never going to be our form of business, but we are going to approach individuals in Parliament and say to them, these are the changes we want to make to the Constitution. Which ones do you agree with? Which ones don't you agree with? Let's have a conversation. And then we'll reach a point where we will bring forth in front of Parliament this new Constitution to be voted in. And in order to make those changes, we'll probably need 70% of the members of Parliament to buy into it. But we do believe that the public support will grow and expand.
Have you had conversations already with various parties?
No, we have not.
Not yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, not yet. Okay. In closing, any last words that you would like to leave with our audience? How can they find out a bit more information about you and your party?
You can go to our website, ohm.org.za, and read our manifesto. In the manifesto, it outlines all the changes we want to make both to the government structure and to the political system. We're also proposing for a completely different way of voting, a method of voting. So it's not just about the political system, it's about what the ballot paper looks like.
Right.
And
because at the moment it's a book. It can be quite confusing with so many political parties on the ballot.
It's 2 pages. But the amount of candidates in our new system might be just as much, and that's okay. I think having options is a good thing. I definitely think so. Having more choice, like if you want to buy a bottle of water and you only have 2 brands to choose from, have you got freedom of choice? Or if you have 50 brands to choose from, you have a better freedom of choice that way.
What can we expect elections 2024? Is there any fireworks? Do you think everything will go smoothly? Do you find that there are going to be a lot of coalitions after elections?
Up until this point, I think campaigning has been fairly calm on the campaign front. I hate making predictions because you never know. Anything can happen. there's definitely going to be new faces. Whether OHM's part of that or not, I'm not sure, but there's definitely going to be new faces, new parties represented in Parliament. And I just hope that that lends itself to progress towards system change either way.
What should the voters keep in mind when casting their vote?
Firstly, that 18 million people in 2019 did not vote when 17 million people did, meaning that non-voters could completely displace the current government if they wanted to. Also, that no vote is a wasted vote, and the top 3 parties occupy 90% of the seats in Parliament. And then with the rest of the parties, you need to see who funds who. Those that fund the top 3, see who also funds some of the others, and make sure you vote someone into Parliament, or a party in this case, that is as independent and autonomous as possible. We do not want parties that are just going to be voices of their funders. We want parties that are going to be voices for the people.
Interesting. Lauren, thanks very much for affording me your time. All the very best. I'm sure you've got a very busy couple of weeks ahead of you, and we look forward to doing a catch-up later on.
Thank you. We'd love to do a catch-up.
My pleasure. There we go. Elections 2024 update with OHM Party, the Organic Humanity Movement. You could find them on all the good socials, and maybe cast your vote for them. I'm not saying you need to, but I'm just giving you the relevant information to do so. And that's how we end Hilaal Live. We're back tomorrow between 5 and 7 from Sohail Barnes and myself, Luqman Shadrack. Have a great evening. Assalamu alaikum.